Hey there and welcome to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave and tonight we're talking chili. I'm going to go through kind of the simple technique, core techniques for how to make chili. Now obviously there's all kinds of different ways to make it. There's as many chili recipes and methods as there are cooks out there. Huge regional differences. You know, chili down in the Southwest is totally different than Northeast chili, and California chili I'm sure is throwing avocados in there, right? What we're going to do is kind of the basic version. We'll have some meat in there, a little bit of beans, obviously tomato based, but really I want you to use this as the core recipe or a core recipe that you can riff off of however you want, do lots of different cool things to it, easy to add a whole bunch of other ingredients to it. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with our chili. A little bit of olive oil in the pan, and I'm going to go with ground beef for my chili. I've got like probably a good 3 pounds or so of ground beef. Now I play really kind of fast and loose with my chili recipes. I don't follow a whole lot of rules. You know, I'm using ground beef, I'm using ground pork, ground turkey, anything you want. The key really is just get the meat in the pan, a little bit of oil to start it off with, and just get it nicely browned in there and cooked all the way through. So once the meat is browned, you want to remove it from the pan, and if there's a ton of oil or grease in there, you obviously want to remove that as well. Now's the time to start adding your aromatics. You know, the vegetables that you're going to cook for the entire time that our chili cooks. I'm using a red bell pepper, green chili, some onion, and a few garlic cloves. You know, the possibilities are endless here. There's as many different options as there are chili cooks out there. But you want to sweat them down, get them nice and soft, and start drawing those flavors out. And once that happens, we're going to add some spices to them to kind of toast up some of the spices and get that flavor in another kind of level of complexity, which is really what chili is all about. My aromatic vegetables are now cooked down. The onions are soft. Peppers have kind of given up a lot of that flavor. Now I add in a can of tomato paste. This is what, I don't know. It's an 6-ounce can. And this is a key step a lot of people forget or skip. I do the same thing with a lot of my tomato sauces. You kind of cook out this tomato paste, and it sweetens the tomato a little bit, gives it a kind of a much deeper, richer color. And you really only need to cook it down for about 7 or 8 minutes. The color is going to go from kind of a bright red to a bit of a rusty red. And then right when we do that, I'm also going to add some of my spices. Now, spices, again, it's kind of like the vegetables. You can go as crazy as you want to get. There's all kinds of different ones. For me, chili powder and cumin are kind of the big flavors. And then I add a few others in there, you know, kind of depending on the mood. Even things like nutmeg or cinnamon can be absolutely great. And now that spices are getting kind of toasted in there as well, and it's all going to kind of release the essential oils and accelerate or embolden the flavor. Once this is done, we're gonna let it go for 7 or 8 minutes. Once it's done, we're gonna come back. We're gonna start adding the rest of our tomato. We'll add our meat back, and then it's really just a matter of time. 7 or 8 minutes, I'm gonna start adding my tomato. I'm using fire roasted diced tomato, which is a favorite because I like some chunks in my chili, as well as a large can of tomato sauce. I'm just going to stir that in. And I've been seasoning with salt and pepper as I go. Oh, and my daughter's favorite too. And we're going to add back our meat, and then just going to cover the whole thing with chicken stock. And my daughter wants goldfish. So stir this in, cover it with chicken stock, and then put a lid on it for about an hour and a half. So now that I've gotten my daughter some goldfish and some OJ, I can go ahead and add chicken stock. You can also, you know, again, this is another time, you can add a beer in here, you can add a little bit of wine, you can add all kinds of things. I'm going to, you know, just kind of get it fairly loose, kind of stew consistency. You can always add a little bit more liquid. I'm going to bring it up to a simmer. Again, probably a little bit more seasoning because you want to season as you go, salt and pepper. And then I'm going to cover it and just let it slowly simmer for, you know, an hour and a half at least, 2 hours maybe. You can't really overcook the chili. About midway through, maybe 3/4 of the way through, I'm going to come back and add in some beans, optional ingredient. But really, I don't really want to cook them all the time, or the full amount of time, or they might get a little bit soft. With about an hour left for cooking time, I go ahead and add my beans. I'm just using like 1 small can of pinto beans. Again, optional, totally optional to add any at all. You can add white beans, you can add kidney beans, kind of whatever you want. If you're doing canned like I am though, I like to add them, like I said, towards the end so they don't get too soft or too mushy. This is also a time if your chili's a little thinner than you want, you can always just cook it uncovered for a while, and that will evaporate some of the water, thicken it up. gonna let this go for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll come back and serve it. So we're about 25 minutes or so after the beans were added, and I just did a little taste test, and I found a couple things. One, a little under-seasoned. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna also add a little bit of honey for some sweetness, because my tomatoes are a little bit tart. Now, this is a pretty common trick with tomatoes. I'm just gonna add maybe a tablespoon and a half worth. You can also, add all kinds of other ingredients, your wild card ingredients at this stage or towards the end. Herbs, other liquids, a little vinegar, balsamic, all kinds of things like that. So after a couple hours, you've got your chili all made. You can garnish it, 100 different ways. I like maybe a little bit of cheese on mine. Fresh grated cheddar cheese, a couple scallions, and sour cream is a favorite of mine too. I just throw mine in a little bit of plastic bag here, cut the tip off. You can do a little squirt around the edge, just like that. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.